some big breaking update as well coming at this point in time, viewers. I mean, pan-India outrage on Kolkata horror. Some disturbing details have emerged of the injuries on the victim, and we have accessed the preliminary post-mortem report copy. Let me straight away go across to my colleague Swati joining us on the broadcast. Swati, give us the details.
Absolutely horrific and shocking details coming to fore, part of this autopsy report, Hina, and there are a list of injuries that were found on her body. If you go through it, you'd realize perhaps not even a single inch of her skin was left uninjured. There were injury all across, all over her body. It talks in detail about what they found. Number 1, bleeding from both eyes. 2, bleeding from mouth, injury over the face and nail, bleeding from private parts, injury in left leg, injury in belly, injury over left leg ankle, injury at her neck, injury at her right hand, ring finger, injury over her lips. All over her face, all over her body, injury marks were found by the team. It also talks about the process and how the mother was present during the entire process. One videographer was called to record the entire proceedings. The mother of the victim was present, but of course, due to emotional reasons, she was sitting in one corner of the room. Now, during the entire investigation and proceedings, they found several injury marks on the dead body. They found that it was lying on a blue mattress. She was in a half-naked condition. That's what this report mentions, and how there was a lot of hair found on the mattress. The mattress, blue mattress on which she was found lying, was blood-soaked. There was a lot of hair found, which in fact, tells you about the kind of torture that was done. The brutality is what comes to fore through this particular report. The procedure ended at 4:40 p.m. The report was prepared in front of the witnesses. Just take a look at this list of injuries. There are 10 listed over here, and it talks in great detail about the kind of torture that she had to suffer, from her face to her neck, her limbs, belly, her private parts, injury all over her body.
This is absolutely horrific. Swati, while I was listening to you also, and when you said that, the kind of details that have emerged, these are absolutely shocking. I mean, brutal. How can somebody do this to another human being? And what are we now waiting for, Tapas? That's the big question. Just look at the details that have now emerged. As Swati was also telling us, not even, a small inch from her skin was probably left. The way she was tortured and murdered. Tapas.
Well, yes, of course, the brutality reflects in the initial report of the post-mortem of the autopsy that came out on Friday. That clearly states the kind of brutality that was unleashed, and it clearly indicates that this was probably not an handiwork of one person alone, but could be involvement of some other person. That's what the protesting doctors have been demanding since yesterday. That is there any ways and means by which an attempt to cover up the entire investigation is going on. However, Kolkata police have said categorically, the commissioner of police have also said it, and they have launched a helpline number seeking help and information from anybody pertaining to any information regarding this particular murder and rape that could help in the investigation process. But as of now, we are seeing that Kolkata police is leaving no stone unturned. Forensic team had already arrived at Ajika Medical College. They have collected the samples, and also a dog squad was brought in yesterday that sniffed around the area and tried to gather if any other individuals were present there. And as of now, 30 days of CCTV footages have been sought and have been analyzed very closely to track the movement of Sanjay Roy, who have already been arrested. Whether he was accompanied by some other people or he was often go to that place is what the police is trying to ascertain. Police is trying to figure out and match these clues all together to come to a conclusion, but it seems that it will take some more time. However, the protesting doctors are adamant on their demand that immediately the case has to be handed over before any tampering of the evidences happen. That could be detrimental to the investigation process. Back to you.
These are extremely disturbing details, Tapas, that we have got. And amidst all of this, we also had the assistant superintendent calling the trainee doctor's family after this incident and saying that she probably died by suicide. I mean, it's absolutely shocking. And perhaps the family is right when the family says that, you know, it seems more people are involved.
Well, yes, absolutely. The SOP or the standard operating procedure of any hospital is that when any such unnatural death happens or any such mishap happens in the hospital, it is the responsibility basically of the assistant superintendent to communicate. But there are multiple assistant super in all the medical colleges, hospitals, even in RGK. So which medical assistant super had called the next of kin is yet to be ascertained. The number is with police, but police is not disclosing much about the whereabouts or the identity of that person for the sake of the investigation. But you can, there is no denying fact that any the hospital when communicate anything such to the next of kin of deceased person in case of unnatural death, that cannot happen without the knowledge of the principal. And hence we had seen that yesterday the doctors were very clear that Shondip Ghosh, who was earlier the principal of RGK Medical College, should also be held accountable, because without his knowledge this couldn't have happened. It was a miscommunication or a misinformation that was being communicated to the next of kin. That's where the question arises, whether any attempt being done to cover up or trying to divulge the situation of the unnatural death that have taken place here in RGK. But as of now, the CBI inquiry have been is just few away from now.
That's the question. Why is the case not being handed over to the CBI immediately? Why wait till Sunday? That's the big question that we are asking. Tapas, requesting you to stay on with us. And viewers, as we mentioned to you earlier, that because of this gruesome murder that has taken place in Kolkata, there is protest across the country. Let me now go across to my colleague Mohit Bhatt, joining us from the national capital. He's outside the Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Mohit, over to you. Tell us what's happening. What is it that the doctors have to say? What is their demand today?
Well, in fact, yes, doctors have been protesting at various hospitals throughout the country, saying that if doctors are not safe at their workplace, then you can imagine the plight of doctors who serve the humanity 24/7. They have very difficult duty hours, and in fact, they want that they should be safe. They want a proper law should it be enacted. And look at these scenes out here at the RML hospital. These are all the resident doctors who have just one demand, that the case should be transferred to CBI as soon as possible. And they also say that the government should ensure that the doctors are safe, because they say that there are certain lapses, various lapses that have come out in this particular probe. So let's talk directly to the people who are sitting over here. They have placards which say, "We want justice, nahi chahiye, और निर्भया नहीं चाहिए." अस्पताल में हुआ है रेप, महिलाएं कहां पे हैं सेफ? मैम, अब प्रोटेस्ट डॉक्टरों का चल रहा है। पूरे देश से डॉक्टरों की एक मांग है कि हमारी सेफ्टी इंश्योर करिए और इस केस को सीबीआई को दीजिए। जो डायरेक्टर थे वो जो हटाए गए संदीप घोष उस कॉलेज के, दूसरे कॉलेज के डायरेक्टर बनाए गए, वहां पे भी अभी उनका प्रोटेस्ट किया है। मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स ने कहा है कि हम इनको यहाँ नहीं आने देंगे। सीबीआई जांच की मांग है और एक तरह से पूरे देश में जो है गुस्सा उबल रहा है डॉक्टर।
जी हाँ, ये बहुत ही दुखद है कि आप जो बोल रहे हैं कि डॉक्टर्स की स्ट्राइक है, कि ये सिर्फ डॉक्टर्स की स्ट्राइक है, क्योंकि ये मामला सिर्फ एक डॉक्टर का नहीं था, एक बेटी का था, एक महिला का था, एक ऑन ड्यूटी डॉक्टर का था। इसलिए हम बहुत दुख के साथ ये कहना चाहते हैं, अपने साथियों से, अपने सभी नागरिकों से ये प्रार्थना करना चाहते हैं कि वो हमारा साथ दे, क्योंकि आज जो उनके साथ हुआ है, कल उनकी बहू बेटियों के साथ भी हो सकता है। और जिस अस्पताल में वो आते हैं इलाज कराने, उसकी सेफ्टी की जिम्मेवारी उनको भी लेनी पड़ेगी, सरकार को लेनी पड़ेगी। और वेस्ट बंगाल गवर्नमेंट अपनी निर्लज्जता से वो इस तरह का काम कर रहे हैं कि जिनको परमानेंटली हटाने की मांग थी, उनको एक हॉस्पिटल से दूसरा हॉस्पिटल।
Interrupting you there, request you to stay on with us. I'll come back to you in just a bit. We have Abha Singh joining us on the broadcast as well. Abha Singh, good morning. Thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. The details that have emerged of the kind of injuries that were found on the victim's body in Kolkata are extremely disturbing. She was bleeding from both the eyes, mouth, left leg. There were injuries in her private parts. I mean, you know, not even a single inch of skin was left in this brutality. What will you like to say? Because I am clearly at a loss of words. How can any human being do something like this to another human being?
You know, we should hang our heads in shame that such men, boys we have produced. I mean, it's a disgrace to this society that we have animals living among us. But what is even more scary is that this must have continued for more than half an hour, because the way injuries are, this brave heart would have fought for her life and nobody came. You mean to say there are no CCTV cameras? There is no chowkidar who goes on night rounds? I mean, it is shocking that the hospital had no safety security at all. It can be anyone, and this kind of injuries means this man had been planning. He would be knowing that this young doctor was doing night duties, or somebody has planned this. It's a premeditated thing, not out of the blue. So a detailed investigation, the doctors are rightly demanding a CBI inquiry. This needs to be moved out, because we have seen that Kolkata police has been only working on political lines. The police commissioner and all have only been touching the toes of the politicians. The police has to be taken away from politicians and put on merit, because if the police is compromised, these incidents will be happening like anything.
And yesterday we heard from the West Bengal Chief Minister also that if there is no breakthrough by Sunday, then only the case is going to be handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation. How will you like to respond to the comments that we have heard so far, the progress in this case so far, with the family of the victim continuously saying that it can't be the work of one person? I mean, just look at, in what condition the victim was found.
First thing is this, that I am surprised at how Kolkata was declared as the safest city for women in India. If you remember, months back only, they said law and order is the best in Kolkata, and these incidents are happening. Also, I agree with you that somebody has planned this, maybe not one, there could be 2 or 3 persons, because keeping a track that this girl is going to be there, she would be having a night duty, and then this predator coming, it is definitely a planned thing. And now when the people in Kolkata are saying that till Sunday they will wait, on what tenacity, what authority they have to say that they will wait till Sunday? First, it was your duty to have prevented such a offense from happening. You have failed your duty. The duty of the police is to prevent such horrendous crimes from happening, to provide safety to women and girls' child. You have failed in that, and then you are so shameless that you don't want to give it to CBI, because I'm sure many heads will roll. There were complaints against the principal of the medical college, and as I read in Times of India today that some police officer rang them up to say that your daughter has committed suicide.
Yes.
All this needs to be investigated.
All right, Abha Singh, appreciate you joining us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective. And there is anger, viewers, across the country, because it can happen to anybody. And remember, this has happened in a hospital where all of us go hoping that our lives are going to be saved. These saviors are also not safe. Let me now go across to my colleague Govind as well, who's joining us live from Bhopal. Govind, आप हमें बताइए कि वहाँ पर जो डॉक्टर्स हैं, उनका क्या कहना है और किस तरह की स्थिति है जहाँ पर आप अभी मौजूद हैं?
Yeah, absolutely. The protests are being intensified, and this whole protest turns to be the Pan-India protest. You know that it's being recorded all across the nation, from West Bengal to Delhi. So in Bhopal also, right behind me, I'm just taking you to the pictures where the medical students and resident doctors are on the strike, in fact, demanding for the justice, whatever the incidents took place inside the hospital there in West Bengal. So these are the resident doctors and medical students in AIIMS Bhopal who are just demanding for the justice in the same concern. And you know that after the medical report or the other reports comes out, the definitely anger intensifying over this incidents, and demand of CBI also there. Many people are just putting forward, and these doctors just demanding for their certainty of the security and safety. In fact, so these are the doctors, resident doctors, and medical students in AIIMS Bhopal who are just demanding, and they holding the placards, say asking that we want justice, save the saviors. In fact, so these are all in fact doctors and resident
so
doctors.
protests
and
being seen in Bhopal as well. Govind, requesting you to stay on with us. There's some break.